G'day, legends, and welcome to the Thursday Sesh by Celtic Down Under. I'm your host, Jared, and joining me as usual is Willie. How you going, Willie?
I'm going all right, Jared. I've had a busy day. I had the day off today. I had a school field trip with my youngest daughter, a wee bushwalk. We ended up crawling through this man-made tunnel, which was pretty cool. So it was all around a good day, yeah.
Happy days. You can't really complain that. Anytime you get time off work, it's always a good thing.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I was going to make a joke to start the pod, it's just me and my Willie tonight. But, I thought, should I, shouldn't I? I did anyway. Whatever.
Uh,
We'll get on with it. So, yeah, international break. It's almost over, Willie. How bloody good.
I know. I mean, Scotland got a couple of good wins there, like so. It was good for Scotland overall. We managed to hang on into the top pots of the top placing in the Nations League. We've got a playoff now, so it was good overall. But yeah, I'm glad to get Celtic back. I just think there's way too much international football now.
Yep, I would have to agree. I have zero interest in international football. Does me nutting, so it's actually good for Celtic to be coming back. So, yeah, we'll bring up a couple of comments to start off with. RL77 saying it's William Bush. There we go. Yep, there's plenty of jokes from that. And I'll sit on your comment here for a little bit, Robert, because you just, bugger it, why not? Palmer's Honduran coach confirms he is a wanker. There you go. It's already happening. So yeah, glad everyone's well. Robert Gibson's still got his stock standard thing going on there with Palmer. So happy days. Did you see, Willie? Palmer, national coach, basically got told not to play him too much in one of the games. I think it was their home game because it's like a fake plastic pitch or something like that. And Celtic were basically asked him not to play him too much. I saw that and thought, plastic pitches, and Palmer's actually playing on one.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, the plastic pitches, they're all over the world now. They're just horrendous. I don't see what benefit they are to football other than you don't have to pay a groundskeeper to look after your pitch. So it's not for me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I hate the plastic pitches. So yeah, it's an interesting one. And then also with Palmer, I saw that had to get subbed off at half time in the game they played in Mexico City because he couldn't handle the altitude. So
It's
take
good
him
to
off
go.
early because of plastic pitches. Take him off early because of altitude. Soft as butter. I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
RL77. That's always great to hear that the YouTube notifications are doing their thing. Weren't expecting this on. Yeah, it's international breaks. We'll do the Monday after the last Celtic game, and then we'll do the Thursday coming back. So that's pretty much the plan. So here we are. You get me and Willie for your viewing pleasure. Have a look at this non-chiseled jawline. There you go. It says it all.
Team Handsome in your house.
There it is. Should name the episode that. So basically, Willie, what I wanted to start off with, we've got a few things to discuss on the episode. So we're going to talk about the crazy run of fixtures Celtic's got coming up until the next derby, basically, is where I've counted through to. We're going to talk about the transfer window, and then we're going to talk about the Celtic online community, and then we'll preview the match against Hearts. If we feel like it, if we want to go a bit there, we can do it. I don't know if you saw in the last Monday, the last pot noodle, we did a hot takes. So it was one random hot take that was Celtic related, one Scottish football related, one anything related, and you just throw in. It can be anything you want it to be, and you just say it. Like, I'm willing to die on the hill that salt and vinegar chips is the best flavour ever. That was my one from last Monday. Johnny was talking about top sheets on beds. So if you want to do that as well, Willie, have a bit of a think, and we can throw that in there.
Yep. I will say I, I want nothing to do with Shane Beaton, who enjoys Foster's lager. That's a massive no-no for me.
You just need to throw him out, put him in the bin. In
Sorry,
the bin
Shane.
you go, Shane. Yeah, so I think we'll just start off with the first thing I touched on there, Willie. So Celtic's upcoming crazy run of fixtures. I did the maths. In other words, I looked at the calendar, counted back, and then added how many extra days through to our game against Hearts. So in 23-day period, we're playing 7 games. It's basically a game every 3 days was what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but I noticed there was a little bit there. So I'll go through the games, and then what we can do is we'll discuss off the back of that squad rotation, a few other different things. So start off with Hearts. Then we got Club Brugge in the Champions League. Then we got Killy. If my phone would actually wake up, would be handy. Sorry, and then we got Ross County. That's why I said Killy, because my phone decided to show me the last result. Then Aberdeen, then Hibs. Then we got Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League again, and then we got Rangers, and that's through to the 16th of December. So basically, I didn't want to go on the actual dates because they're Australian dates, so they're probably going to be all wrong for what's happening in Scotland. But yeah, in 23 days, 7 games, it's going to be tough. I think the easiest way for us to manage it, Willie, will be we're going to obviously need to have squad rotation throughout that period. Like that's common sense, right? Brendan is an intelligent enough man that he knows he's going to have to do that. So how he juggles that is going to be a critical thing for us. But then the other positive for us, if we're looking at squad rotation, is we get to see if it's a great opportunity for with the transfer window, which is our next topic coming up in January. Gives a chance for any of those fringe players who could be on the cusp of are they going to have a Celtic career or are they going to be down the road and be done? It kind of gives them a chance. So we get to see if there's any fringe players who are going to make an unexpected impact during that run of games. So what I'm thinking, Willie, is if we look through them, the key games for us are obviously the Champions League games, like Club Brugge at home. You'd be wanting to go and win that game. You've got Aberdeen away. You'd want to win that game, definitely. And then you've got Dinamo Zagreb away in the Champions League. And then off the back of that, like 5 days later, we've got Rangers at home not at home, sorry, that Hampton in the Cup final, in the League Cup final. So realistically, like you look at that, they're the games I wouldn't really be rotating too much. So the other games that leaves is Hearts this weekend, Ross County, Hibs, and yeah, you could probably rotate against Rangers. So what's your thoughts on the crazy run of fixtures there, Willie?
Yeah, it is a really congested fixture. I mean, you usually find that once you go into the Christmas period, you do sort of the weeks become clustered with games every Sunday, Wednesday, or Saturday, Wednesday, depending on the fixtures. But looking at it, it's not just the run up to Christmas. It's right through January as well. There's a game of every 3 days or 3 to 4 days, as you say. But the squad is going to get utilised to its fullest. There's going to be fringe players out there. Guys like Young and Home, they're going to get their chance. They're going to get some minutes during this period, whether it's against Ross County at home or Dundee United away in a game like that. They are going to get the opportunity to play, but this is where they really need to grab the bull by the horns and show Brendan Rodgers that they are capable of being not only in the squad but to play when called upon. Like so, yeah, there's this like you say, there's definitely fixtures in there you would like to rotate players in and out of, but it's just about getting the balance right and not rotating too much.
Yeah, as Maestro's saying here, he's saying it's only one game at a time, sweet Jesus. And then McLaughlin follows that up with when it loads, we have the potential 31 games in 113 days if we get to the playoffs in the Champions League and quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup. I'm not freaked out, McLaughlin. I just think I'm going to say it. For people like us doing a podcast, this gives us plenty of content. There's games every couple of days, so we can cover games and preview games on the Monday for the weekend and preview the midweek games and so on. So it's good for us in this situation. Probably not so much for the players and their poor little legs going in the Christmas break. But I was having a look, Willie, because you said it's crazy through January, and after the cup final, the League Cup final against Rangers on the 16th, right? Our longest break until the end of January is the 6 days after that. We get 6 days from the Rangers game till we play Dundee United. And then after that, it's like a 5-day break, then 3, then 4, then 4, then 3. Then there's the absolute beast one here. We play Dundee United at home, then you've got to go up the Highlands to play Ross County. And it's like 2.5 days later. So that's where it gets a little bit tough. So, and then basically you get Dundee on the 15th of Jan, and then you get Young Boys in the Champions League on the 23rd of Jan. So that's our biggest break is the Rangers game until that one after we play Young Boys in the Champions League. So it's going to be interesting. As you said, there's going to be players like Yang, and I don't even know if Home will be the guy because apparently he's injured. So
I
that's
think
why.
it's late November he comes back.
Okay, so any day now, yeah, because even if he's coming back, he's not going to be fit. So you probably bring him in for that 10, 15 minutes here and there, right? So I'm looking at it going, are we going to be doing, you bring him in, okay, he can play the role McGowan's currently playing. McGowan's going to have to step up into a bigger role during that period. That's the way I look at it. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for us. It's going to be plenty of rotation. My biggest concern is actually not even a concern because if we have to play Maeda as your third striker, for instance, you've got Kyogo, you've got Maeda, and you've got Ida up front. So we're fine there at the moment. But I don't want to be robbing Peter to pay Paul sort of thing, moving Maeda from that wing and playing him at the striker and then weakening ourselves on that left wing. So it's going to be an interesting one. So, yeah, it's going to be great. And I smell the gloves saying here, loads of games coming up, proper fit bar, no international crap. Love it. Exactly how I feel, mate. It's like you took those words straight from my head, except for the Fitba word. So, yeah, we'll just go through a couple other comments here. Smell the glove, g'day mongrels. What a legend. What a great comment. McLaughlin is saying Zagreb away, I think, is the toughest game we'll face before Christmas. We'll touch on the transfer thing in a little bit. So, Robert Gibson's saying international should be played at the end of the season when no one gives a toss. Can't complain with that. So, Willie, what fixture do you think is going to be the toughest one?
I think Aberdeen away domestically, I would pinpoint that as the toughest one. Pittodrie is always a tough place to go to. I mean, we're going to Tynecastle at the weekend. It's usually a tough place to go to, but Hearts' form's a bit off, and we'll touch on it a bit more later. But it's usually a tough ground to go to. But Aberdeen away is definitely going to be the toughest test. Hampden, yeah, again, I don't really fear Rangers at all at this moment in time. I fear Aberdeen more than I fear Rangers. So, yeah, Aberdeen away domestically and Zagreb away. It's going to be both games. Bruges, is it Brugge they call themselves now? Brugge at home and Zagreb away are they really are must-win games. Those 3 games are the must-win games. If you want to finish top 8 in the Champions League, you have to win them too. And if we put Aberdeen away to bed away from home, that puts us on top of the league domestically on our own too. So, yeah, they're the 3 games I would pinpoint as must-win.
Yep, 100% agree with you on that, Willie. So, just going to have a little look here. Maestro saying, be positive, it's looking good. Of course, mate, of course. Like, I'm not worried about this at all. I just think it's interesting how the fixtures are just piling up at the moment, but that was to be expected with the new Champions League format. Players will get by it, so we'll get through it, and yeah, I think our team's looking good anyway, that we can tolerate it. We've got more than enough. We keep saying it's a squad game, so here we go.
This is the reason we have the squad size we do, and this is why we always say competition for places is competitive. There's no point having a squad with 11 first-team players and 11 players who probably won't make your first team. You need to have players who are going to challenge for that to keep the players who are in the first team on their toes. You know what I mean? If everybody's on their toes, there's no reason why we can't go on an extended unbeaten run domestically here and start racking up some serious points. Like,
I'm going to say it just for fun. Is Brendan shaping up for another invincible season?
I'm not going to curse it, but
I'm saying it because, someone's got to get the blame for it. May as well be me if it doesn't happen.
I'm not going to say that thought hasn't crossed my mind several times this season already. Like, so.
Yep. So, yeah, as Maestro's saying now, we shouldn't fear anyone. We're in control of our own destiny. RL77 is saying, wonder who Sevco's new manager will be after the final. Will they still be Sevco? That's the real question. Or will they be going to administration like a couple other clubs? Just saying it so they can give us some shit in the comments. But anyway, we'll crack on to the next topic. I did that for you, Jared, by using the term crack on because he says I say it all the time. So as we said, we're closing in on the new transfer window. The transfer window opening up again in January. So off the back of discussing the fixture list, Willie, do you think our congested fixture list in the next month is gonna show us that we have a lot of work to do in January? Or do you think it's just gonna be a case of us only needing one or two players at this point in time?
I like this transfer window's creeping up, and it's like it's just about here. So I don't think there's massive overhauls needed anymore. I think it's just augmenting the squad with one or two players here and there. Looking at players who might want away. Somebody might want a big transfer away, whether touchwood it's not, but Alistair Johnson gets a big money offer, comes in, then that's when you start looking at the right back position. Hopefully it's not going to be that. But I think it's just a case of augmenting the squad. It'll be one in, one out sort of thing.
With that Alistair Johnson thing, apparently he signed a new deal. That's the
Yeah,
word
so
on the street. Yeah. So that's always a positive. But yeah, for me, I agree with you, Willie. I think it'll be one or two. I think, as I said on the last pot noodle that we did before the international break, I think we only need to bring in maybe one or two players, and it's going to depend on if we can clear something out, for instance. So say, all right, let's just go random scenario here. We want to play Maeda as a striker. So we either need to bring in another striker or we need to bring in another forward, another winger. That's something we were looking at in the last summer window. Didn't get one. So if the opportunity comes in to get someone to challenge Maeda for his spot, then that's something we should look at it. So it's someone who can cover it. So then if you need a striker and a winger, Dazin can play that role, and then you bring in another actual winger, right? And then Palmer goes out exactly as Robert's saying. Palmer's the guy out the door to balance our squad level. So that's the sort of thing I want to see. I want to see is bring in better quality to replace those who are leaving. Then say if Greg Taylor, for instance, was to sign a pre-contract elsewhere, down in England or something like that, right? So we got him for the rest of the season. Do we just sell him off, get him out so we get some money in, and then do we go and look to upgrade that position again with some more money and try and get us a quality left back for like Alistair Johnson level left back for next season? That's the sort of thing. Now in the comments we've got McLaughlin saying Palmer out, Welsh out, Naroski out, Home out as well. I think I would like to see Home go on the Chris Iyer, Liam Scales, Ryan Christie loan within Scotland. Send him out for a good quality 6 months minimum within Scotland and see what we got. I don't want to write him off too soon. He was a Golden Boy nominee. He's got the ability. It's just he needs to get a run of games. So I'd put him out on loan within the Scottish Premier League and for at least 6 months and see what we've got there. The other guys you said there, Welsh, as your fifth option at centre back, he can do the job, but I don't really want him anywhere near our starting lineup. Palmer out, yes. Naroski out. Who knows? Depends on what else we can bring in. Now there was talk that we've potentially got a pre-contract with Burnley's captain. If I've heard that right, I'm trying to figure out who that is though. It's not Dara O'Shea, is it? Saw it in the comments early on. Where was it?
I'll just quickly Google that for you.
It's just great dead air. There you go, McLaughlin. We've been linked with Burnley's captain on a pre-contract in January.
Yeah,
Which player is that?
Brownhill. It's the current captain, Brownhill.
What position? Josh Brownfield, midfield. Okay.
So he's in midfield, yeah. He's in the anchor role.
Yeah, I was just having a
That'll
look
be
at what
another
else they've got.
defensive sided.
Yeah, just seeing what else they've got. Oh, there's a name from the past. Vaclav Klugli, however you say it. I can never say his name properly.
Hladky,
Used to
yeah,
be
the
at
goalkeeper.
Hearts. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it'll
He's
be
actually a
interesting to
decent
see.
keeper.
What was that?
He was a decent keeper.
Yeah, well, he's out there.
Minimum.
Yeah, Josh Brownhill is 28. There you go. So McLaughlin's saying that he thinks home is no different to Liam Shaw. Get rid. And then Smell the Glove saying, I hope the nutters in Brazil who want Bernabé might take Welsh as well. Robert Gibson, you're saying we should get Valle signed. Apparently, we wanted the option to sign him in his loan, and he didn't want that. So who knows? Could happen. But yeah, there's lots of uncertainty around the left back position. Definitely, with as RL77 saying with Taylor and Valle possibly leaving. So that's going to be the next key position for us to strengthen come end of season potentially. So yeah, there's plenty of things to talk about on that front, Willie. So what I'm wanting from you is what level of forward planning are you expecting to see from Celtic? Like we've got our new director of football in. Basically, I can't remember his actual position title, so I'll say that. So are you thinking that he's going to be looking at, say, some forward planning? Is he going to be looking to sign guys on pre-contracts that we want in the summer, but get them locked down already with pre-contracts? Like they're saying about Brownhill, is he going to be looking at potentially signing someone like Lennon Miller and then loading him back to Motherwell for the next 6 months before he comes to us full time in the summer? What are you thinking? What level of forward planning do you think we'll see from Celtic?
I've got um, I've got 4 points. I think Paul Tisdale will be looking at right now, and I think number one will be the left back. I really think that'll be number one priority. Um, there's no real significant signs coming out of Celtic that Taylor's going to be offered a new deal. There's no real significant signs suggesting Taylor's knocking the manager's door down trying to get a new deal. So that come July the 1st, that looks like it's going to be all done and dusted and Greg Taylor's going to move on. The strong rumour is that there's injury crisis at Barcelona at the moment and Valle is going to be recalled, which means we could go into January with one player who signed a pre-contract with another club and on his way out, and another player who's been recalled from a loan deal. So if Greg Taylor signs a pre-contract with someone, is he going to give it 110% and risk injuries in games when he's got a new club sitting in the wings waiting for him? Who knows? So that's something that we will need to look at, and I think that will be the one position that we will make a move on in the January window. Which leads me to the left wing. Then I think the whole left side will be Paul Tisdale's sort of first mission to try and shore up, because this is a position I think when it might not be at the back of Brendan's thoughts, but it will certainly be there. I think in his process when he's going through all this. Maeda's a phenomenal player, and we can't underestimate his work rate. But there's nothing after him. You know what I mean? If we lose Maeda for any reason, that left side of our team suddenly takes on a completely different complexion. Like Forrest can do a job out there, but he's not getting any younger, and he's probably more natural to the right side of the pitch side. And will Forrest be able to give Taylor the amount of help that Maeda does when Taylor's making the moves to the inside of the pitch and leaving that sort of left flank exposed? Like Young's another player that plays out in the left, but for me, I'm not all that convinced that the boy's ever going to make it at Celtic. He's talented, yes, and I think he's a player who'll do well in Scotland at other levels, but I don't think he'll do. He's not quite our level, so he might get a chance in this congested fixtures. He needs to be able to show Brendan signs that he's worthy of staying at Celtic, or whether he would just want to get rid of him. You know what I mean? If he shows flashes in this next couple of months of the games, he might say, right, okay, let's put you out on loan for 6 months in Scotland and see how you go. But if he doesn't take this chance, it might just be a case of, right, we don't want you here. So, yeah. But then who's behind all that? You've got Palmer, but we all know Palmer's a show pony who does it for himself and nobody else. And then you've got the likes of Adam Montgomery or some of the other B team players. So, ultimately, I think we need strength on that left hand side. So I think Paul Tisdale's first port of call will be the left back and the left wing positions. Like,
Yep. So I'm going to bring up a comment from Vanessa McCormack where she said, we should have bought Geordie Boss last year for left back. You're preaching to the choir, Vanessa. I don't know how many times I said that on this pod and on Axom. We should have been going after him. You know, since we couldn't get Geordie, how about we just go and sign his brother Casey then, who also plays left back and is probably better at the same age, in my opinion. There's an option, but I don't think he's starting quality level for Celtic just yet. So that'd be one for the future. But yeah, Geordie Boss would have been ideal. I'm sure there's plenty of players out there. If we look, let's be honest. Look at what Thielen's done at Aberdeen, right? I'm sure there would be some quality Scandinavian left back out there that would be looking for a game and like to step over out of their area. Like, who was that young left back that we had that went to Leeds? The Norwegian guy.
oh,
Helder? Something Leo Helder?
Helge or something. Helde.
Leo
I
Helder.
know the guy you're on. Helde. Aye, I know the guy you're
Yeah.
on about. Aye.
He's 21 years
It,
old, playing in the championship. He's only played 3 games.
Leo Helde.
And he's at Sunderland at the moment. So, yeah, he's barely playing. And, yeah, he was one that, there you go. He's, what is he, 190 centimetres as well. He's left back. So, there you go. He's your good 6'3" left back. There's one if we wanted to bring back one of a guy who would technically classify as homegrown, I think, because he spent 3 years in our youth. Just a bit of a random thought there. Could do a lot worse. And then Lennon Miller. Do you think we'll what do you think? We'll sign him and then loan him back to Motherwell if possible?
Yeah, Lennon Miller's a player. He's got bags of potential and he's got more to come. He's still at an early stage of his development, so I wouldn't hesitate in paying the 5 million for him and loaning him straight back to Motherwell, whether it's for the rest of this season and say half of next season as well. You know what I mean? It's definitely a move that makes sense for me. It ticks all the boxes, but the big drawback is if you read any of the red tops in Scotland, I think he's all but on his way to Rangers. They are absolutely desperate for him to sign for Rangers for some reason or another, but they can't afford £5, let alone £5 million. Like,
They'll be digging through their ashtrays, trying to do
it's crazy.
all sorts of. But the funny thing is, imagine if he did land there, just for shits and giggles, right? Imagine if he did land there, Willie, having a player named Lennon at Rangers. The Orcs would be melting down in the stadium. It'd be hilarious just for that reason. But yeah, no, I'd definitely rate him. I'd be looking to sign him, and then I was saying about loaning out. It's called home. I'd be like, yeah, let's sign Miller from you, but just for fun, you can have him the rest of this season, and you can also have Thiago home as part of the as part of the loan this season. Perfect. Happy days.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I just can't see it materialising for Rangers in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I think there's a lot of suggestions that he might want to just get out of Scotland altogether. So
Yeah.
you just have to wait and see.
Well, there's a couple of options. If you read some of the bloggers and stuff like that, we'll be out of Scotland soon enough too, so you can sign with us and then just come along for the journey.
Yeah.
Had to say it. Geez, can you tell there's something in this? Brilliant. Yeah, so the last thing that the transfers on to talk about was how you get to an international break, it's slow news, and suddenly a Celtic player starts doing really well, and then next thing you know, you're getting that random story linking a player like, oh, Nicholas Kuhn is the current one. Nicholas Kuhn wants away. He's close to getting a call up to the German squad. He can't be playing for Celtic if he's in the German national team. He's got to make a move. There are clubs down in England that want him. And I'm just finding it hilarious because he's the current one that they've picked. Before that, it was Matt O'Reilly. Before that, it was Kyogo in the off season.
Yeah.
They're always trying to unsettle someone. It looks like Kuhn's the next one. But I love with that rumor and that floating around that Kun's agent has come out and he goes, we're in this as a business partnership with Celtic. He feels at home at Celtic. Kun does, where Nicholas has got a home where he's playing at a club that he loves playing at. In his position, he's playing regular football, and he's got a manager who's developing him so much and so well. We don't want to leave. He will only leave when the club want to sell him. And then he was waxing lyrical about how good the club is at signing a player for $3 million, developing him, selling for 25 to 30 million. Now the funny part of all this is Kun's agent played for Rangers.
One Mr. Christian Nerlinger, who was one of the chief recipients of EBTs. I think he was one of the highest recipients of them, if I remember correctly. Like.
I think him and Craig Moore were two of the highest recipients of them. So
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny though that it was Mr. EBT himself was just waxing lyrical how good Celtic is. Like imagine the response he would have got back in the day.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's great that Kun settled. He's loving life, and that is one thing with Brendan. He always is good at developing players, and I look at him and go, Kun had a slow first 6 months at the club, and now he's settled. So anyone else that we've got that looks like they could be struggling a little bit, give him a bit more time. Like I'm going to say it, even seeing Yang in the last month, whenever he's come on, you can see the improvement in him. So it's good that we've got a quality coach there who's, upskilling our players and developing. And yeah, Kun is not going anywhere.
Yeah. Listen, the more that the newspapers try to unsettle our players, the better, the more of a badge of honour that is for the team, because that means we're doing more right on the pitch, and the press are worried that we're just going to keep steamrolling teams as we go. So it's a good sign. Like,
get the steamroller out, keep it happening.
yeah.
So I'll bring up some comments here. William O'Toole, hail, hail. Vanessa is saying that Home needs to be loaned out when he's over his injury.
Yeah.
McLaughlin saying, I really don't want to be loaning back £5 million signings. What do we got here? Then smell the glove. Nerling at the Leipzig game wearing a Celtic scarf. Yeah, seen the pictures. Hilarious. And then Mahesh is coming through with some absolute doozies. So Kun's attacking contribution is not far behind Henrik Larsson levels. If he keeps these levels this season, there'll be big offers for him. I hope we hold our nerve. What is he, 24 years old? We've got him under contract for another 4 years. We don't have to sell him. If we get through the final 8, or we get through in the Champions League to a qualifying game, and then we move on, and we do well this year in the Champions League, we don't have to sell all our players. They're under long-term contracts. Let's improve the team. Get rid of someone. So if Taylor leaves, bring in someone a bit better. As we said, if Palmer goes out, we bring someone better in. And if we keep doing that, we get better. Then next year we have to go through qualifiers to get in the Champions League. But we'll have a team that's played together and has got the experience playing under this gaffer, and they're ready to hit the ground running for the qualifiers. Why muck around with it? Why sell off our best players just for the sake of it?
Yeah. I mean, if we finish top 10, say, in this Champions League format, there's no reason why Nicholas Kuhn can't be getting touted for a Germany cap, or players like Kyogo and Mary. You already see it with him. They wouldn't pick Kyogo before. They're starting to pick him now. And that's because he's putting in performances in the Champions League. So if you look at that format and you see Celtic sitting above, the teams are sitting above right now, international managers are going to look at it and go, well, hang on, I'm saying to you, why am I not looking at this player when his team's sitting above that? Certain other teams that we are above, the types of teams we're above, you know what I mean? So it all adds up to being a good, successful season for us, you know what I mean? And the more success we have on the pitch, the better it is all round for everybody. The players will get international recognition. Okay, yeah, Kuhn might not get it if he's here, but then there's nothing to stop him going for that big money move and heading off, and that's to try and find that next player to come in and play on the right wing who's going to be another success. You know what I mean? as long as we keep this forward motion, we have this motion that we're going forward and we're moving forward and moving in the right direction. As long as we keep that motion going forward and we don't just get to the point where we go, oh, we're doing really well. We don't really need to spend any money. We don't need to strengthen. We don't need to improve. We just stick with what we've got. Then there's no reason why we can't just keep being a success.
Yeah, we don't want to get back to the days where it was, all right, we do well in the Champions League, so now we sell Virgil. Oh, we've done well in the Champions League, now we sell Wanyama.
Yeah.
Next season, now we sell Forster. Next season, now we
Yeah.
sell someone else, and so on and so on. We don't want to get back to those things where every off season we have that one big outgoing. Yeah, we had it with Matt O'Reilly this year, but we were ready to absorb that and go with forward, planned enough that okay, we got Arnie Engels in, but we also had Bernardo ready to go.
Yeah.
So
It's yeah, it's great. I'm just really enjoying the sort of purple patch we're going through right now. It's just a joy to watch. Like, long may it continue.
100%. All right, let's move on to the next topic here, Willie. So I want to have a bit of a laugh and discuss the great Celtic Twitter exodus over to Blue Sky that has occurred over the international break. So why I wanted to bring that up is there's a bunch of German teams that are cancelling their actual Twitter accounts. Like St. Pauli's already done it, like Werder Bremen and a few other clubs are doing the same thing where they're getting rid of their Twitter accounts. They're moving over, or X accounts, whatever you want to call it, moving over to Blue Sky. Whole bunch of our fan base is already over there, like in terms of Celtic fans. And, oh, it's so nice not getting bots and OnlyFans idiots in your comments and ads and all sorts of stuff. It's just magic. It's just great. So yeah, over on Blue Sky, where like as similar to our Twitter one, Celtic Down dot Blue Sky, whatever all that stuff is, you can go find us over there
Yeah.
if you want to. But how are you enjoying it, Willie?
I'm finding it quite good. It's like Twitter was back in the day before all the hate and the bile came in. Before like Elon Musk bought Twitter and he just took a lot of the parameters out of it, and just all of a sudden it just became a hateful site, and it's just horrible to be in at this moment in time. And it's hard not to just throw in comments at people when they're just saying such disgusting things, and you're just like, why are you saying this? Why do you hate certain individuals because of what, the color of their skin, and you can get away with saying it on this platform? It's just absolutely disgusting. Like, so, Blue Sky is now the place to go.
I look at it. So smell the glove saying is Blue Sky just getting popular because Elon supported Trump?
Yeah,
Probably. But as another thing for me is like I really don't care in terms of what people say to me. Like I've had death threats on there. I've had on there on YouTube. I've had all sorts on it. I don't care. Like what the way I look at it is what people are saying on there, they wouldn't say to my face. Because if they said to my face, they'd get hit. It's pretty simple, right?
yeah,
So I think it's a bit of a shit show. Like Twitter is just a cesspit, always has been. Like even before Musk had it, I thought it was just a shit show on there anyway. I've hated Twitter. Like I had an account years ago, had it for about 6 months, got rid, and then when I started the podcast, I brought it back. Right, so I've had it ever since. But I'm probably in terms of people running podcasts, I don't even really engage on there. I hate it. Like off Twitter, could not stand it. I'm yet to get my head around and get back into the swing of things with even Blue Sky, but yeah, it's just one of them things where people will say stupid shit on there because they know they're not going to get punched in the face. It's that simple.
that's it. Yeah,
The easiest
they
way
can
to
hide
sum up
behind. Yeah,
keyboard warriors
easy.
and stuff.
Yeah, they hide behind that anonymous names that they have, like, and nobody knows who they are.
Yep, 100%. So before we go on to our preview for the game on the weekend, if you go to CelticDownUnder.com, on there you can get these sort of magical T-shirts. You can get drink bottles, hoodies, the works. If anyone's looking for any of that sort of stuff, so yeah, show your support. Jump on there and grab yourself some merch if that's something that you're interested in doing. Now that grotesque plug is out of the way, let's just get into the Hearts game, Willie. So it's on the Saturday night game by the looks of it. It was a or afternoon game or something like that, because yeah, it's 6:45 a.m. Sunday morning kickoff for us over here in Melbourne. So yeah, that'll be a nice one for you. Sunday, just 8:45 a.m. for you. You'd be living the
Yep.
dream, watching it while
Yes,
having
I
your
have.
breakfast.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got. There's three coming to my couch CSC this time. It'll be me and my two daughters watching this one for a change. It's on early enough for them to get up, like, or late enough for them to get up as it is. Like.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. So, what are your general thoughts heading into this game, Willie? And do you expect much out of it? I'm trying to figure out how to word this one. So, for me, anytime we come back from international football, you've got players who have travelled and barely played, like our Japanese contingent, right? So, they might be jet lagged, but they're not going to be leg weary. But then you're going to have other players like Palmer that we spoke about earlier who struggled in the altitude in Mexico City. So he might be leg weary. So what are your general thoughts heading into the game, and how do you think the players are going to pull up, and is anyone going to be out of condition from the international break?
Yeah, it's an away day against the Diet Hands, and it's always a tasty affair, isn't it? Like out there in Tynecastle, down Gorgie Way. Hearts are in really poor form for them, but they have shown sort of signs in games against Rangers and in Europe that there is that sort of fight still in them there, and they can raise their game when it's needed. But I think very careful team selection will be made, but because there's a massive game in the midweek. But I don't think they're going to sort of bring in fringe players to try and just keep people fit for Wednesday's game. So I think the team that starts on Sunday will be Saturday will be the team that starts against Brugge as well. But it'll be one of that ones. If we can get the game put to bed early enough, they'll start taking players off to rest. Someone like CCV might play. We go 3-0 up in the first half. CCV might not reappear for the second half, and Trusty will move to right centre back, and Scale will come on and go right centre back, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say you're going to necessarily rest players from the outset, but be just sort of careful use of substitutions as the game wears on.
It's called managing the squad. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be a interesting one. I'm thinking the same. Like heading into the game, they're a bunch of dirty bastard hammer throwers at the best of times,
yeah,
and then there's their players on the pitch too. So yeah, they're could be an interesting one. So for me, I think the key thing is getting in there, getting the 3 points, getting out of there, and rotating the squad so that no one gets a knock, or say if someone's not 100%, get some minutes in their legs and get them out of there. So
yeah.
yeah, it should be an interesting one. So what do you think were the key focus areas for us to win the game, Willie?
In midfield, it's always in midfield in these sorts of games. Getting the ball from back to front quickly. If these teams step too far up the pitch, exploiting that spaces that they might leave in behind. You know what I mean? And the Hearts have always sort of played like a 4-5-1, a 3-5-2 against us, and try to get stodgy in the middle of the pitch and sort of stem the flow of how we play football. But this guy, Nick Critchley, he seems to want to play a 4-4-1-1, which means Shankland will sit slightly deeper with Vargas playing off him. So I don't know. I don't think Shankland's very mobile. So there might be that sort of space between the front and the midfield if we can get guys beyond to just try and sort of push at them. So yeah.
Yeah, hitting them on the counter, or
Yeah. Or just
between
hit
the
them.
lines is going to be the good thing. Just get it done. Send the bricky out there to just level some
Yeah.
people.
Just
That
hit
could
them
always
right in the fucking nose. Bang. Take that, you dirty.
doing
Diet.
that. You can't do that with who's on VAR and who's refereeing here, Willie. That's the
Aye,
only
that's
problem.
true. Aye, I know. Steve McLean. How does he get Celtic games when his brother played for Rangers? Like,
You must know some people or have some dirt on people. Yeah, so as William O'Toole's saying here, the Hearts game will be a good indicator of how we're going to manage the squad over a hectic period of games. And then Smell the Glove saying full strength team on Saturday. As you're saying, it's basically like a dress rehearsal for that. RL77 saying start a team, strongest team, and steamroll them in the first half, then make the changes, like what you said there, Willie. Maestro, when Celtic flow, nobody can touch us. And then, yeah, Trusty can take care of Vargas. We've got that from Maestro as well. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. So, yeah, just going into the game, Willie. 100% it's going to be midfield, and it's going to be about keeping a solid defence with Schmeichel and your centre backs, keeping it nice and tight there with Calmac screening them. What's your expected starting lineup, Willie?
Yeah, starting lineup. I don't think there's going to be any shocks here. I think it's going to be Schmeichel, Johnson, CCV, Trusty, Valle, Kalmak, Engels, Hatati, and then Maeda, Kuhn, and Keel go up front.
I think you pretty much got my lineup there as well. So that
Yeah, I think.
Schmeichel, Johnson,
Yeah,
CCV, Trusty, Valle, yeah, then in the middle will be Calmac, Hatade. I don't know if how he's going to pull up from all the travel, but yeah, Hatade in there, and yeah, and obviously Engels, and then up front, Kyogo, Maeda, Kun, laughing.
yeah.
So score prediction, we got a 2-0 in the comments by McLaughlin, and Maestro saying 4-1. Let us know your score predictions, everyone. Willie, what's your score prediction?
Given Hearts have only won one game in their last five, I'm going to go for a comfortable 4-0 win.
Fair enough. I was just going to go, yeah, we'll take a 3-0. So, Willie, do you want to do a random hot take to end the episode, or do you want to go a final thought?
Do both if you want. Like a hot take, Chinese food in New Zealand is absolutely rank compared to the UK. I don't know
There
if
you
it's
go.
the same in Australia, but it's nothing on the UK. I had one the other day, and it's just like there's one item I can take off the menu, and the rest is just rubbish. Like,
The majority of ours over here is just frozen stuff thrown in a deep fryer or a steam thing, and then it's done. It's pretty shit too. Smell the Gloves saying 3-1. Robert Gibson 3-1. RL77 is 3-0. And Wimo Tools saying if we get an early goal, 4-0. And then Pork Chop Express, haven't seen you in a while, mate. Welcome back. Is saying 2-0. Engels and Kun is the scorers. Okay, I will go for a hot take. The new laws for social media in Australia that's been voted through that you've got to be over the age of 16 to have an account is actually a good thing. I'm gonna say that. And the only reason I'm saying it is because it's gonna stop people getting on certain social medias when putting their kids on social media when they are 7 years old for clout. I don't need to go into that any further. But yeah. Well,
I agree with you, mate.
and so Willie, final thought.
Final thought is the Penguin on it's Neon. It's called over here. I don't know what formats you will be having it over wherever you are, but Colin Farrell plays like a Timu James Gandolfini version of the Penguin, and it's top notch. Right, it's brilliant. It's well worth a watch. Right.
Yep. And my final thought, since you mentioned a penguin, I'm just gonna go newt newt newt. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hail hail.
Hail, hail.